As a scientist, I have the opportunity to study the universe and try to see how it works and unlock its mysteries. And the more I study the universe, the more I notice that it appears to be designed, from the smallest quarks we study to the largest galaxies that we study. The idea that the universe is designed is sometimes called the anthropic principle, coming from the Greek word anthropos, which means humanity, that the universe appears to be designed and made to allow life like humans to exist. Welcome to this 6th video in a series on the book The Creator Revealed. And in this video we're looking at Chapter 5 called Design in the Universe. Perhaps the definitive book on this was written in 1986 by John Barrow and Frank Tipler called The Anthropic Cosmological Principle. And in that book they list over 100 parameters that appear to be fine-tuned. It's as if you had a control panel with 100 knobs, things that control things like the speed of light or the mass of a proton. And if you were to change them just a little bit to the right or to the left by a few percent, you'd either have no universe at all or a universe that's inhospitable to life. For instance, in my research I study the strong force. The strong force is the force that binds quarks together and neutrons and protons and ultimately binds the nucleus together. It's because of the exact strength of the strong force that we have the periodic table. If we were to change the strong force, the periodic table would look different. For instance, if we were to make the strong force just 2% stronger, we would eliminate hydrogen from the periodic table. That would make life impossible because you could not have things like water, H2O. Our sun burns hydrogen, so you would not have stars like our sun. If you were to take the strong nuclear force and make it just 5% weaker, all you would have is hydrogen, which would make chemistry class simple, but would make life impossible. Shortly after the universe was born, the amount of matter in the universe was fine-tuned to 1 part in 10 to the 60th. If you had just changed the amount of matter just a little bit when the universe was first born, you would either have a universe that expanded so rapidly that there would be no stars and galaxies, or a universe that started to expand and then collapsed in on itself. So the fine-tuning of the universe extends to many different factors, and these factors, if you change them just a little bit, you'd have a universe that doesn't exist. Some of these things we know how they work, or we think we do. We think we know how the fine-tuning of the mass of the universe works. It's possible that a mechanism called inflation at the early part of the universe, within the first 10 to the minus 30th seconds, force the mass density of the universe to be just what it should be. In other words, we have a mechanism that might have caused the fine-tuning to occur. Some people think if you can describe the universe with a mechanism, you no longer need God. But if you have a mechanism that does exactly the job it's supposed to do, if you have a funnel that gets gasoline to go into a small hole in your lawnmower, or a robot that puts the right welds on a car, the mechanism itself is evidence for design. So all throughout the universe we see design. This is not something that theists have come up with. This is something that physicists have come up with. It's in the physics papers, it's in the physics journals, and physicists are amazed. They look at the design in the universe, they know it's there, and they wonder where it comes from. Of course, as a Christian, we believe there's a real designer and that we can know that designer. And it's the designer that has caused this remarkable fine-tuning in the universe that we see.